for. I was looking for something that was mindless, and I thought, oh, well, it's WoW.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of Server Restart In. It is a weekly World of Warcraft podcast hosted by three opinionated players who like to get together to discuss their thoughts about the current state of the game. My name is Jim, joined by Kristen.
Hello.
And Brian.
Hi.
Hi. And we did it.
We did it. We did it. We did it. Yeah.
You know what we did, right?
Killed Fyrakk?
Yes.
Barack Obama?
Yeah.
Yes. That's what we did.
Yep.
Secret Service are coming for us now.
Oh.
Yeah, the secret incarnates are coming for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it. It was fun. It was good. It only took us a couple practice pulls, got it down. Yay.
Yay. I was dead when he went down. Yay.
But you still contributed. Well, like half the raid was like dead when we killed him.
Was I dead?
I don't think so. I think like half of it was because it's rough because it's a lot of like, even if you do LFR, the mechanics are just that much more different. Like in LFR, you don't have to pick up the seeds. The seeds just turn into the safe area and like the third phase and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but we did it.
That's what I remember it. I didn't think it happened to me, but I guess maybe it did. But because I did pick up a seed, and I was holding on to it, but then I got hit with the blast. I didn't think I got hit myself. Because you get hit with the seed, and then it does the raid-wide blast, right?
You have to, when you pick up the seed, you have to drop it. You get an extra action button you have to use, which creates a safe space to stand in the pushback, the apocalypse.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to get hit while holding it, though.
Yeah.
Right. Not supposed to get hit by either a firestorm or his breath or a
right
thing. But I think that's it. I think you can avoid everything that could cause it to drop.
Okay, then it wasn't me then. Somebody else got hit by something because it did a raid wipe thing. A raid wide damage, whatever it was, that spell. Somebody dropped or got hit with a seed or something like that. And so that's when I died. I thought it was me because I was like the one of two that died at that point. And so
yeah,
I don't know. I was like, dadgummit, why did I die on the kill? That sucks.
Yeah.
But it's just a start, right? It's just we're gonna keep going.
Like we're gonna not kill him again.
Yeah, because we had at least one of our main people who was out for like a month and a half.
Yeah, we got to go kill him again
because of work, mandatory overtime type stuff. So
yeah,
but it was. I think that's the fastest we've ever cleared a raid in 3 raid nights for us.
That was a good difficulty. As far as effort, right? It wasn't pushover like mind numbing to get through, right? And it wasn't fucking.
Yeah, it wasn't like the Sylvanas
blocking.
Fight. The Sylvanas fight was, or even the Jailer. Jailer actually probably wasn't that bad.
Anduin was the worst.
Anduin
was rough for us. Yeah.
And that was like one of like the mid-tier bosses, like the difficult, like like they kind of
remember. Didn't you say at one point too, like he was supposed to be the original end boss or something like that, and then they changed it?
It seems like that's the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like because they decided to, and I don't know if that's actually true, like if there was going to be a whole nother content patch after that.
It definitely felt like it was an end boss.
Yeah, it felt like that was going to be the end, and then there would be another set, but don't know. But no, this whole raid, it felt good.
This was probably closer to like Castle Nathria because it was like it had a few fights that were kind of pushback, but nothing incredibly difficult, right?
Yeah, I think
In normal, that is in normal.
the most challenging fights were obviously Fyrakk. Maybe the one with the trio of the Dreamers or whatever, the bear, the duck, and the dryad. Like, because that one's got a lot going on that you got to take care of. And then maybe
Did we even wipe on that one though?
I think we did once or maybe once. Like maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe once. Yeah, maybe once.
And then
I'm trying to think of what else
the
we did wipe on then.
Lothar, the Lord guy or whatever, where you have to do the
Charred ground.
Yeah, clear the trees and stuff like that. That one, I don't even remember if we died on that either.
I think we did because we got closed in like the first time we did it.
Yeah, I don't know. But overall, it's a pretty accessible.
It's good because I think Heroic's gonna be fun to actually like. It feels like it's gonna be in a good spot for everybody, right? And
yeah,
and with the way that gear is set up now, with upgrades and stuff, it feels like, yeah, it feels really good. I like it.
So the other day, Blizzard, I guess it was 2 days ago, they released their roadmap for what's coming next for World of Warcraft and for World of Warcraft Cataclysm and the classic roadmap. Didn't really look at the classic stuff because, whatever, but we do know that in January 10.2.5 is coming out. But there's also going to be a 10.2.6 and a 10.2.7 before we get into the pre-patch. So the 10.2.5, that's where we're getting the epilogue of the story. The Reclamation of Gilneas questline is happening. I'm assuming that's going to be, I don't know if that's going to be Alliance only or not. I don't know. Dragon riding worldwide. So all your mounts, or most of the mounts, will be dragon riding. Follower Dungeons is finally coming out, so it'll be a good addition.
Hoorah!
Yeah, AI Dungeons. And then the Azerothian Archives, which I don't know if that's been really discussed a lot, what that is.
It's on the PTR to some extent. But apparently it's just something you can replay like once every 15 minutes or something like that. It's an event that goes on that's apparently like the soup kitchen thingy.
Okay.
And then you can replay it to get the lore and transmog bits. There's only customization type things to it. There's no power rewards or anything. Lore and cosmetics.
That's not bad. Hopefully it's fun. The big question on the map is the 10.2.6 patch, which seems like it's going to come pretty close after 10.2.5. Just from
You guys both have seen it then, right? Like,
I seen the picture and it's a little banner with a skull and crossbones on it.
any guesses? Was it what it might be?
It's hard to say. I mean, obviously it looks like a pirate flag, but there was something a while back where they said there was not going to be any pirates, but it was before this was announced. But I don't know if that is going to hold. It could mean
No pirates. Did they say that? Or the expansion is not pirate related? Is that what they said?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Well, it's also positioned like in, for sure, February.
Yeah, February, maybe early March. Like, it's going to come pretty quick, I think.
What, that's the start of season 4 then? Or Seeds of Renewal start of season 4?
I don't even see Seeds of Renewal. What is
10.2.5. 10.2.5.
No, season 4 is after that.
What the hell is it then?
No, it could be a death somebody could die. We could go back to Shadowlands.
Oh God.
Oh.
God.
Go burn the tree there.
I mean,
It could.
oh, that was so funny in Raid when we were doing Gnarl Root and somebody put down one of the portals from Shadowlands, and it christens in tree form on a druid, and it's got the maker big, and so we just put campfires under her.
It's the burning tree.
we lit the tree on fire.
Oh, it's so cringe right there. The night elves are just, well, she is a night elf too.
I am a night elf.
Oh, that's funny. Oh,
Doesn't your character have the
man.
burn scars too?
Yes. Yes.
It's like a waking nightmare.
Oh
It's like,
my
is this the Emerald
gosh.
Nightmare?
I'm the worst.
Oh,
Yes.
that's so sad.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
It was funny.
It was gonna be like one tree versus another, except she can't move. Only Gnarlroot can.
Yes, I couldn't move. That's right. It's like a kaiju fight, right?
A tree Jew.
Yes. Yes.
It was funny.
Well, they do say in their announcement that the season 4 and these updates will be wrapping up the story for this expansion and laying foundation for our next one. Season 4 will revisit the dungeons and raids, along with outdoor content featuring updated rewards and a few new twists.
So yeah, that's when they're gonna basically do like faded raids, like they did at the end of Shadowlands, where like
God, wouldn't they, like, dude, what if they brought back islands just for the bridge between Dragonflight and the War Within? Because I mean, there's got to be a way that we get to the War Within.
well, I mean that's all gonna happen in the summer with the pre-patch stuff, and probably
You say that, Jim.
well no,
But they're
'cause
changing it.
if you look
They're
at
changing it up.
no, it's gonna be 10-7 late spring because that content patch is called Dark Heart.
Oh,
So
Take it.
yeah, that's fair.
yes,
The Dark Heart's a thing in the thing, isn't it?
Yasharaj's heart that was consumed by
No, I was thinking the
Garage?
big crystal thing in the War Within trailer.
that I don't know. You're talking about the light source for the
Yeah.
Aerthor place. Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know.
I'm guesstimating or
I don't know.
guessing
It's just
about
called
that.
Dark Heart because that's where the Harbinger quests come in, and the only Harbinger I'm aware of is Zalatath. So that could be like some like story stuff happening, kind of like how in BFA they have the Naga invasions where you could get story stuff to unlock Nash Tatar type thing
Yeah.
and do stuff. So it could be something similar to that. Troll and
That's kind of cool, though. Walk on Ascent. We didn't have a walk into
yes,
Dragonflight, did we?
we had the
From Shadowlands?
elemental attacks.
The pre-patch, but there's a pre-patch though.
No, we did because you had to do stuff. Yeah, because we had to go do the dungeon quest for Uldaman.
Hold them on.
You had
But that was pre-patch, wasn't
That
it?
was
was the dungeon in pre-patch? I guess it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think that there was really any like story for like the Dragon stuff. So if they're gonna start doing that, like blurring the lines between those and having like actual story that kind of really leads up to it, that's gonna be kind of nice. You know,
That'd be
that's-
pretty cool.
But that's yeah. And Troll and Draenei are getting their heritage armor. I don't know if that's the last ones. There is a new holiday event in the spring. I don't know if that's what that is.
Hmm.
What's in the spring? Children's Week. Is that-
and
is that in the spring?
Easter.
Oh, that's spring. Because there was a new data mined
Yeah, but
night
didn't
elf.
you just say spring?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. Well, I said that, and I thought you were saying it like it wasn't a possibility that was the holiday.
No,
I don't know.
you said what's in spring, and I said, and you were naming off spring holidays, and then I said, Easter.
Oh, well, I meant in WoW. I don't care about human.
There's the Easter thing.
Noble Garden.
Noble Garden.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
still in the Easter event.
Yeah. Isn't that the same thing? Or is that different?
Noble Garden is
That's
the
different
Easter
than
event.
Children's Week?
Yes, that's different than Children's Week.
I don't know. I don't do those holiday things that much. But because there was a new Night Elf child model data mined. I don't know what that's for. I don't know if they're adding that in somewhere. But that also could be just for the new Night Elf city. I think that's in 10.2.5, where they're adding that, and like the Horde's allowed to go in there, which is making a lot of people mad, or a lot of Alliance mad that the Horde get allowed into it. Which, whatever, it's probably better to start doing that shit now.
I wish they just fixed guilds.
Yeah, fixing guilds would be nice.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Well, it'd just be nice to have cross-faction queuing.
Yeah, it'd be nice. So if I could actually do stuff with my guild, since, they introduced the fact that you'd be able to, be in the guild with a different faction, it'd be nice to actually do stuff with that different faction.
Yeah, stuff that's instance content that you could do, but follow unless they expand follower dungeons.
Yeah, I can't imagine that you'll be able
to do time walking and stuff like that.
Yeah, just so frustrating,
Well, hopefully, because they're with the pre-patch, they're doing the guild update, which I think is removing the realm stuff.
Sorry.
Because warbands are coming in, which is basically erasing server identity to the point where it's irrelevant now. It's just like North American versus Oceanic versus whatever, right? Probably that's going to be what it is, if that's even.
What about warbands? What does it matter to
warbands just
guilds?
our own?
Yes, warbands is everybody, but you're not going to have to switch servers, right? So they're consolidating the back end stuff so that you don't have to log into individual server. You don't have to switch a server, right? So that's what's probably allowing cross-faction guilds to be able to invite people into your guild from a different battle group, right? Because right now,
so are servers going?
Your characters are still going to be on the server, in that database, which will allow for names to be unique and stuff like that. But as far as your warband is concerned, your character list, you don't have to change realms to change characters. They're all on the character list.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I got you. Okay,
what I'm saying is that they're
just simplifying their view of it.
Yes, the data silos still exist, but at the top level, it's flat, so you don't have to bounce around between them, which is probably what's
you still have you only have so many in the visual warband. You'll still have to dig down into ones if they're not within your selected whatever, right?
Well, yeah, you have 4 people that show up on the screen that are your quick slots, right? Your quick saves, or your top 4 characters. You know how T-Mobile had your top 5.
Fave fives or whatever.
The Fave 5.
Yeah.
That's a throwback a lot of people probably won't even have any clue about.
No.
Yeah.
That's back when you could only talk on nights and weekends for free, and texting you had
God.
50 texts per month. Otherwise, it was a quarter text or something like that.
That was so funny.
Oh my God.
09. That says 09. They got rid of my faves.
Well, yeah, because you were on mine. I got you added mine. Yeah, when we started, talking.
They launched it in 2006.
Yeah.
Well, but that whole paradigm of cell phone plans and stuff like that went away.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Don't miss those days.
No, for sure. But hopefully they're gonna fix this stupid queuing issue, and they can't keep hiding behind we don't want to force people to play with the other faction if they don't want to.
They can't keep hiding behind that, but they shouldn't.
No, they can't, because we're going to keep calling them out on that until they fix it, because that is what we do here. We lay
whether
the
or not they
groundwork.
listen.
They do listen. We know they listen. They take the ideas and they implement them. How many things have we talked about only for them to just come out into the game because they listen?
Good ideas.
It is a good idea. if people want to opt out to it, or even make it a way to opt in.
Yeah, you shouldn't opt in. I think would be a better.
Say yes,
thing.
I don't mind queuing with mixed faction.
Yeah, I don't think you should make people opt out of it, but you should be able to opt into it.
Yeah, and then that would allow preform, like if you're in a cross faction group, you automatically are opted into it when you queue for heroics or for time walking or anything that you queue for like that. Whereas if you queue solo or you're a single faction group, you have to either check the box or not check the box, right? And that's how it should be, and it's just like, just do it. Just do it, Blizzard.
Do it.
You got 8 days.
Take scan user and just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
Eight days and Kotick is out, and you don't have to worry about it anymore, so you can do it.
Yeah. Just do it.
It's so sad, isn't it?
Are you trying to be funny about this?
Wait, what are we sad about?
8 days, Bobby Kotick's out. On the 29th is his last day.
Oh, my God.
Are you going to miss him too? You and Brian both.
I'm not going to miss him. I think he's the
I
devil.
mean, let's be real. Like his reign was already gone anyways. So
Yeah.
There's no world in which I will miss that man who ruined gaming.
It will be interesting to see how like they evolve over the next year or two.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that they're just kind of just like they loosen the reins and just kind of let them do what they need to do to
Fix our game.
Well, just to do what they let them go back to being what they were, where they didn't have to answer to stuff like that, and they could just make a game based on.
Wouldn't that be nice if the corporate overlords would just let people do what they're
built to do?
Yeah, what they're being paid to do, instead of trying to min-max every goddamn thing. Just let people make games. What?
I mean, the problem is when you put money into it, if you don't get money out of it,
which is the core problem.
Well, that's the core problem when you have a large company. Yeah. One, you need funding to operate.
The core problem whenever you sell something, though,
yes.
And that's what games are being sold. So, unless we want to go back to shitty games that people don't actually sell and they just freeware, right? Or whatever.
I mean, but games weren't necessarily shitty back in the day. You got good games.
There was a lot of shitty games back in the day.
There were, but there were a lot of good games also back in the day.
Well, yeah, I guess it depends on what back in the day you mean, but to some extent,
sure.
Even like the 70s, though, the 70s with like arcades. That. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like they were still huge cash cow. Even the start of Atari, huge, like just pumping money out of people, right? And so it's been a long time since it was ever the essence of that. I think the difference is like Blizzard needs to be in a state where its IPs and those communities that rally around those IPs are like together and they're not treated like some enterprise customers or, car dealership shoppers, shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, cause look at the change in Blizzard, in WoW, since they've kind of, you can tell they've taken feedback to some extent. They're always going to have their stuff to put in there, which they think is going to make it fresh and new and whatever the fuck. But the fact is, they have made lots of changes based on what people actually want. And as it turns out, it made the game fucking better overall.
Shocker. Listening to their player base actually made things better. What?
And think about the games they could fucking do that with. Yeah. Heroes of the Storm, even if there's not 100,000 players playing.
I like Heroes of the Storm.
There's still I bet you there's a big enough community that can sustain the game to be around, right? Yeah. They won't necessarily lose money, but it's not going to be the fucking 10 to 50% ROI that they reach for in a boardroom. That's the culture they need to get to, because it should never be considered something along the lines of like, blockbuster bullshit games like Call of Duty coming out every single year, when you know the fact is that all those people busted their ass overtime to put that out the door just to, I'm sure they got stock and stuff, but you know what I mean? Like, they're busting their ass and they're not getting fat rich off of it like a lot of people are.
Yeah.
So it's not shareholders, so it's the primary,
right.
It's the primary crew deck.
Yeah.
Between the big shareholders and then the people that rally around the top that get paid way too fucking much.
Yes.
And bonuses and shit like that, right?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
whatever with the rest of it. But at a certain extent, like, if you're not the one grinding it out to produce quality that's magic in terms of like making players light up and have fun and want to be more part of it and shit, and really, like, the unique thing about games in general is that when you build a community, it sustains itself. Like, you don't have to really build the next big version like you do in normal software and try to sell it to the same people again. They're there ready to chomp at the bits, so it's like they're going to rally around you, make it better for you. You should cater the fuck to them completely. I hope Diablo 4 is doing that, because all I ever read about Diablo 4 is just shit. I
read
didn't get into it, so
that they're charging $100 for an expansion to it. So I don't know about that.
And that's like probably the first like.
Or I saw it on YouTube.
You're reading the people wrong.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not ideal.
But that's what I hope they get back to, because like they do have good games. Stop throwing your games away when they don't match a fucking preconceived bullshit ROI.
Yeah.
Right? That you can't actually even really truly measure, other than people that buy Call of Duty. And I'm sorry if you play Call of Duty and love it and look forward to it every year, but it's been a fucking trend for the last 15 years now for Call of Duty. I'm not even talking about the good Call of Duties. Like, at a certain point, it was just like, we got to release one every year.
Which is
exactly.
That's dumb. That's so
over and
dumb.
over and over, and it's like, you're just gonna buy it. It's gonna be the competitive thing or something where you're trying to play on Twitch and be cool, and then you're gonna jump on to the next one when it comes out too. And it's like, this is not. It's not gaming with innovation. It's not gaming with like organic community and shit like that. And it's, Blizzard can have those games and really kick ass right now, and that's what they actually need. They don't need, and that's what like a lot of like the game studios under Microsoft Gaming, they kind of work like that, because you don't necessarily hear a whole fuck ton a lot in the wild, right, about the games that are going on and being produced and stuff like that. And so I really hope that that's where Blizzard lands. I don't give a fuck about the rest of Activision, to be honest. Like,
right.
Well, I don't give a shit. Like,
so the thing about the Diablo 4 expansion is that there was a survey that went out about potential price points for different.
You guys think you might pay $100 or $200, maybe $300?
Well, what it is there's like, how like you get like the normal, the epic and the legendary versions and stuff like that. It would be like that. You'd get like $50 for the base one, which all of them come with the game, plus then like electronic or digital like goodies. Like, and so like the 100 one would have like hero skins and maybe a unique non-horse mount and other stuff. So like it's not
non-horse mount.
Well, like it's still like it's a mount. Yeah, I mean like something that's
it's
not
fucking moped. It's a moped.
It's a fucking whatever.
Oh God.
Whatever the motorcycle is from WoW, the one for the heritage armor.
Oh yeah,
or the heirloom motorcycle.
Yeah, yeah.
He's got an orc in the top hat driving you around Sanctuary.
Yeah.
So
it's Wirt.
And it's like
it's Wirt with his peg leg.
Wirt.
Or his peg legs are the handle.
He pulls the peg leg off and turns it into the steering wheel.
Oh God, that's terrible.
So it's just a survey about potential price points, and I mean it's kind of even $50 for DLC on a game.
Yeah, it's kind of
That's a bit fucking high.
Yeah.
I mean, unless
Is it technically just DLC, or is it like supposed to be expansion level DLC?
It says X-Pack, but
it's expansion. It's a new story. So I mean, it's the but
Because they had like in Diablo
Probably
3, they had
the-
that like they had the weird like
the Necromancer one,
the Necromancer one, and
Reaper of Souls or whatever. No, that's
well, one was an expansion, and one was just like literally a DLC class came out.
yeah.
yeah, no,
at some
it's a
point.
whole story.
Mm.
So it would be like the Necromancer thing, but even then, still, it's just like we were doing some, or Kristen was doing some cleaning in the basement, and I came down. And she had found a box full of a bunch of video games, and I pulled it out and I go, "Oh, this is my Baldur's Gate, my original Baldur's Gate game with all the CDs."
Oh,
And yeah, and I
the big folding one.
and I
Yeah.
opened it up and I go, "Oh, I even got the expansion CD, and here's Tales of the Sword Coast and all that stuff."
Dude,
Which is
that's
a whole other
awesome.
thing, and I guarantee you it didn't cost as much as the game.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, but I don't remember how much was on there. But yeah, it was kind of cool to open that
What
up.
a great find.
I found
yeah.
my old WoW books too, which was nice.
Your strategy
Really?
guides for
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh man,
that was kinda
We need
cool.
to.
Yeah.
We need to do like a in-person podcast, and we can like go through.
Go
them.
through
We,
the-
we can do a
Laugh
book.
out.
We can do a book reading.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dramatic reading of the
Well-
World of Warcraft strategy guides.
And we-
Oh, does it do all the dungeons and everything?
It was more of a leveling thing
Oh, I see,
than it
okay.
was like dungeon stuff. It was more basically like common sense stuff that we know now, but
From
I did
just-
not know when I first started playing WoW, which was my first MMO.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
you know,
for sure.
I was definitely their target demographic for those books. But it was
What were you gonna say, Jim? Say it, Jim.
No, this is there's a new mode for hardcore coming out called
Oh,
Self
yeah, I saw
Found.
that. Yeah.
Essentially, what it is, it's you don't have access to anything. You can't trade. You can't use the mailbox, not even to mail anything to yourself.
oh, so
and
you
can't
don't
use
have
the auction.
access to all of your stuff that you've already
Yes,
acquired.
it's just
It's-
you
yeah.
logging in. You can't trade with people. You can't use the auction house. It's what you can do on your own. It is a full solo thing. I mean, you can probably still group, I would guess.
Interesting. I think that would be interesting to do even not on hardcore servers. You know
Can
what
you
I
group?
mean?
I don't think you can.
It doesn't say.
I don't think
it doesn't say you can't group. It just says
it's
you,
based off of the community thing, because it was a mode on the community thing as well.
Well, that
and I
yeah,
wanna
maybe,
say-
maybe that was, but like the announcement doesn't say anything about that. It says you're working
Yeah.
by yourself as far as the items you have. So
Oh, I see. Okay.
I mean, you can't do a dungeon by yourself. You know what I mean? So
Says you, Jim.
well, yeah. In
You can't do a
in
dungeon by yourself?
in hardcore. You tell me one dungeon. That
I don't
you
know.
can-
I've never done hardcore.
You could do RFC once you get.
Oh, you're
60.
talking about WoW. I thought you were talking about Final Fantasy. I thought you were talking about Diablo.
No.
Oh,
yeah,
never
no.
mind.
We dropped the Diablo thing. Was just
I thought
a-
you were talking about
no,
Diablo.
I just
Okay.
Yeah, I
wanted-
was
I
just
just wanted
memeing
to-
on that shit.
I just wanted to clarify, like, the whole thing that, like, they're not actually charging $100. It was just part of a survey that had come out asking if people would pay for that. If it was built like that with, like, you know, a base model and then like additional like
No.
goodies or whatever.
I hope
Well,
everybody
we're already-
said
well,
no.
That's what even the WoW heroic editions at $90. It's like too fucking much.
Yes,
Um,
I agree.
it's sorry to say, like it's just too much.
I
Well,
agree.
So-
it all depends on what people are willing to pay. If you see
People,
Yes, to some extent, but when that average is too high because of inflation as
Yeah.
it is today, like I'm sorry, it's
I
you
mean,
have to
and keep in mind, people nowadays have no concept of money at all. They throw so much money at like Grubhub and Uber Eats and blah blah blah, and they have no concept of saving money, or you know what I mean. Like they're just like, oh, let's blah blah blah. So I think that
I-
the way that they're marketing is designed to take advantage of that. And I think that's kind of shitty.
I think I think part of that though is that like the expansions have been like a whole new game, right? Each time you buy them. So
like I'm not saying they're not the really shitty part is that we spent so long at the $60 level for games in the gaming industry as a whole that it's really hard to see us break away and go up. But we have, because the PlayStation guy bitched about it, and that's fine. Like if it's not worth it for them to ship a copy of a CD in a plastic case and make money on it, you know, even at $60, fine, let's go to $70.
But wait,
that's not what they did. They keep going up and up and up, and now we have this weird ass range from $60 to $100 across the board everywhere. But it's like, this is shit because I can go on Steam and I can pay $20 for a high quality indie game made by one person. And I say high quality in terms of gameplay, replayability, fun, the things that games are supposed to be, and it's affordable.
To me, they have no leg to stand on that because most people, not all people, but a lot of people purchase their games digitally nowadays. So if you're not shipping out discs, okay, because most people purchase them. How many people, other than Jim, Brian, you probably do as well, I do not actually have CDs in their computers anymore because I don't have a CD-ROM in my computer anymore.
Disk drives, yeah.
Yeah. You don't either? Jim
I got 2 disk drives that are sitting down there that I haven't used in years.
Yeah. Everything that I purchase is digital. So to me, I think it's the same thing with books. It drives me fucking nuts with digital books because I read so much and you are not making an actual physical copy. So why am I paying the same amount for something that I'm not getting a physical copy for? You're not expending that in mailing it out to me. You're not expending, in making the actual product. You're not doing that. All you're doing is lining your pockets. And you see the CEOs making $6 billion a year with bonuses and shit. And you're like, that's where my money is going. It's very frustrating. I'm very angry about this, in case you can't tell. Very angry about this. I think because the current crop of young adults coming up have no concept of money and just throw it away, that this enables that. And so it's this big cycle that just keeps going on and on and on, and it feeds itself. It's very frustrating. Okay, I'm done.
What we just need to do is get really big and we just get free copies of it anyway.
That doesn't solve the issue. That does in no way alleviates the issue for everybody else, only for us.
Well, my big problem is I got to buy 2 of them now every time. So.
Yeah. Yeah. We do too. Yeah.
My point is they're packaging what they value as $15 worth of subscription into it as well. And it's like, I get it. I know what they're doing.
And the subscriptions haven't changed. So that's true.
But the thing is, stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Because was there even a $40 option for the expansion?
No.
There wasn't.
Expansions haven't been $40 in a long time.
I mean,
bullshit.
Honestly, all it's going to start doing, hopefully, is it's going to start...
I got to prove Jim wrong now.
It's going to start making people pay more attention to those small indie developers, and maybe they're going to... I played an awesome game. It's
been that way for a while, though.
Yeah,
I think the biggest issue is they're going to... I think they have plenty to go into the expansion that makes it well worth the cost of it over the course of the expansion. But the upfront cost to recoup their cost for it, or however they work that out for the cost of an expansion, it's an outdated model.
Yeah.
Right? And it's I don't flatten the fucking curve at that point, right? You have this weird ass wave frequency of content going on right?
So
Patch, expansion, patch. Flatten it the fuck out and charge minimal prices on content, new content, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't care. But like charging $100 for an expansion that doesn't come out for a year and you added $40 worth of goodies to it, right? They're all digital anyways. It's just, and you're not giving people an option to pay for the core content that you've created as an expansion is fucking annoying.
Mhm.
It's really fucking annoying.
So what I found, Brian, is that the expansions began at $40 with BC, all the way up through Mist, but they became $50 with Draenor in 2014. So almost a decade of $50 for an expansion.
That sucks.
Mhm.
But I mean,
don't get me wrong. Like, I just feel like it has not been $60 every single time, but maybe I just don't remember at this point.
$50 in 2014.
Well, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know.
But then again, like even when Dragonflight came out, $40 by comparison would have been equivalent probably to $30.
Yeah.
When Shadowlands came out,
Yeah.
that's a sad part. I mean, inflation has come back down, not all the way to where it was, and not all the way to the original trajectory that was on anyways. It's normal, but it has come down. So it's not like, I don't know. And it's not even like a big deal to me. And it's not for me to bitch about. Like,
but in general,
I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to pay for it because I want to pay for it because I'm already well invested. But
yeah, it's the general concept of it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like a young teen to get into it, even if their thing says that young teens can't play, they can't afford that, right? That's not a thing, right? And if you want to build a community and sustain a community that grows going forward in time and doesn't just get outdated on a bunch of old fogies like they were talking about at BlizzCon.
You talking about us?
Yes, we're old.
No, at BlizzCon they talked about the same concept, but I don't know.
We just got to build Fortnite in Azeroth.
Oh,
it's got to change, right? God, dog, it's got to change.
I don't know if they canceled or if they got rid of the subscription, or if they greatly reduce the subscription. That might.
I don't even want that. I would pay $20 a month for WoW and still play,
I
or
would
still not play.
Don't say
I
that.
would.
I would not do that.
No, that's
I
not
would
true.
not do that. No.
There's plenty of things that you pay $20 for that are bullshit in your life, and you know for a fact that you would pay it.
No, I wouldn't.
And you know for a
because
fact
there's
that
plenty of other games that I play that are cheaper and enjoy just as much. So I wouldn't.
By that, yes,
that.
by that comparison, that's true. In the case of like continuing to play WoW, like I don't think going to $20 a month versus paying big ass amounts of money for every expansion.
If they found a way to balance it to where,
I'm not saying they're gonna get rid of the thing all the way. I'm saying let's do it the Steam way, right? Okay. If they need a subscription model that helps them maintain, whatever they need to produce good content, then let that be a thing. And why it's so weird to have this subscription model based game that continues to release content over and over and over, and then you still have a drastic like, boom, here's $100 thing you can buy too, and then you keep paying it over and over and over, and it's like,
yeah,
doesn't that seem weird? I know you're making a lot of content at one time, but that's also creating the natural problem that WoW has as an MMO anyways. Why not shift to the persistent world model and stop making an island that's new and selling it for $100? Because it's the same carnival ride every time, right? We have to be worried about somebody. We have to help them correct their villages and get our reps. And then the primary bad guy for those village problems, we defeat. And then there happens to be another one that was lurking around that we'll go and defeat. And then we'll segue into the next expansion by defeating the biggest of the other one that's sitting around there somewhere doing stuff. Right?
Yep.
And then the next one drops and we pay for that one and do it again. It's a carnival ride. Why does it got to be the same thing over and over and over and over? To me, that's a model for taking advantage of people. And I'm sorry, but like, I think everybody kind of abandoned the whole big ass expansion model thing a long time ago. EverQuest is dropping expansions for like cheap. They're not charging $100 per expansion.
No, Final Fantasy still.
Yeah, Final
charges.
Fantasy still does.
Yeah.
But they have what? They're driven more by lore than anything else, right? Like, and they have more persistent worlds to wrap around it. I don't know. Maybe I'm off my fucking rocker. I'm not sure at this point.
I think you're
It's just
tired.
it's frustrating, isn't it? Because it's like at this point I'm kind of like,
I think you're just tired.
do I even want to play anymore?
You do. I think you have a
I
good
do.
time when you play.
I do, but
I
when there's nothing that drags me back into it anymore at all. That's what I told you the other day.
I'm sorry.
Like-
What the fuck are we? I feel attacked.
Oh God.
You don't think that we drag you back into playing?
He's,
That like
you don't.
You know what I'm saying, you
I know.
asshat.
Part of it
Good Lord.
is time though too. You have less amounts of time to.
Well, that's definitely true, but
you know.
But even when I am in a stalemate in my personal life and I got time, I'm just like, I don't want to play WoW.
Right, but part of that again is like Mythic Plus is a big thing, right? And if you had a steady time when you were doing it, steady people that you were doing it with, it might make a difference. The problem is you don't have that time because you are dropping in, kind of doing stuff kind of piecemeal, rather than having same thing with raiding, rather than having a steady,
But I still don't
time.
think that's engaging enough content to be well worth time in general anyways.
For you.
Is it
yeah.
really what you want to be doing when you play WoW?
Yeah, that's
the only
the
reason
whole.
she plays
That's the only
WoW.
reason I play.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you took a step back, though, I bet you would say no.
No, that's the only reason I take a step back.
No. Not the only reason you play WoW. The only reason you would choose to play WoW. So no matter what, you would just want to do Mythic Plus, and that's it.
No, I would just want to
Or
raid.
not that that's it. That's such a high quality feature of the game that you are so engaged in it. I don't think that's true.
No, raiding. Yes, that is
Yes.
has always
And mostly
been.
it's with the friends thing. It's playing with friends and something that's a little bit brain tickling, and that's the same general thing that I enjoy as well.
Right.
It's the rest of it that doesn't pull me back in
Yeah,
like
I
it used to.
am
I'm not
not-
saying that it should. I'm not saying that it can't because of time or anything. I definitely have a pattern in my history where, let's say, Mr. Pandaria and Timeless Isle, the end of the fucking expansion, engaged in that shit for a long time. And you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Like, that shit was fun. Like,
well, sure. 'Cause
couldn't get enough of it fun.
The end
you
of the
know?
expansion is when they have all of the makeup stuff you know what I mean? So they have all the makeup kind of mechanics where for all the stuff that you're doing throughout the rest of the expansion, you come in at the end of the expansion. It's the same thing with Final Fantasy. It's how I usually play Final Fantasy. Where I come in at the end of the expansion and I do all of the
Well,
content.
I didn't come into the end of Mists. I played through Mists.
I think though, like what you're talking about is that, I think they're working towards that. Is that there's not enough in there that's fun and engaging to keep you there the whole time, and you kind of drift away. And I think.
Well, think about the beginning of Dragonflight was literally like. I know it's insane to think that they should be able to reproduce that level of content throughout the entire expansion, but just the sheer amount of shit to do and find in the beginning of the expansion was amazing.
And I think,
And it's like,
it's how do you met that out? How do you spread that out over a whole expansion without having?
I don't think you can. The way they make it, I don't think you can. I don't think
Right.
it's possible.
Well,
But the sheer amount of shit that they're able to make the way they make it
mhm.
was absolutely phenomenal for the beginning of a game.
Well, I
Like
think
expansion, that is.
I think they've started doing that in the later, like the 10.2 stuff, when like you got like the time rifts and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or you had like the dream things happening.
Surges.
Yeah, the dream surges, and now in the next expansion, you're getting delves, which are going to be like real replayable things and stuff like that. That's going to be something that you can come back and do. It may get old after
Let me
a while.
be negative again, but and I'm don't get me wrong, I'm looking forward to it. But you know as well as I do, it's the same recipe
Oh yeah, they're gonna.
over and over.
Yeah.
And it's not something they're going to change, and they're going to continue to charge as much as they can, even if you buy the bonuses stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And that's just, that recipe is not going to change, even though I think it should.
Sure.
And I don't think they would lose money if they tried to. You know, they could be a more high quality, in my opinion, a more high quality company by producing even less to some extent, right? Not saying like that's going to be hard to explain. I shouldn't say it that way. It's the less is more concept, right? But in terms of like the way that the indie developer focuses on gameplay versus, you know, graphics quality, right? WoW already kind of has that anyways, and I think that's what kind of drove it originally. But they could really like do more around that and stop trying to shoot for selling more copies of the expansion and blah 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 blah, all this stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
that's the Activision model that it feels like, you know, even though that was probably there before Activision. That's the way they sold games for years. It'd just be cool if it was something that was more
Yeah.
wrapped around the community and the players.
And maybe,
not so-
and maybe it will evolve like that. Who knows? I mean, maybe they'll find that with having this overarching story that that's something that they can do.
I think once this trio of expansions
Don't say
is
it.
done,
Don't say it.
well, I think it's going to teeter off, to be honest.
Maybe that's when they're
I think
going to
it
have
is.
their shift. Maybe this is the last big bang of WoW as it exists, and maybe WoW 2 is going to happen.
Oh God. I don't think they should do a WoW 2.
I don't mean like a physical one, but like an evolution of World of Warcraft into like, you know, a new thing. Like maybe something that's kind
Wow.
of like,
Warcraft needs to evolve into many different games. It needs to evolve into many different games. One where the MMO cannot lock it down, its story by itself. Because that's the biggest issue right now as to why we can't have single player games, you know, somewhere else or on a console or whatever, telling different little stories, right? Of whatever. Imagine Star Wars, pre-Disney Star Wars, extended universe level of storytelling on different mediums that you can enjoy.
yeah.
You can't do it when you have an MMO that's trying to anchor down the core lore.
I mean,
Core
but then
lore.
if you're involved in that thing, then that forces you to engage with all.
No,
of that
it's
content.
not. He's not saying that it's required stuff. It's just having the ability to branch out and have like little like links between it that you can go, oh, okay, yeah, I remember that. But like it's a self-contained story, but it just happens outside of the main.
Because the universe is big. There's tons of shit that could be happening. You could tell stories that are so much lower to the, literally to the earth, right? That are very like, it's the same way we talk about like how they could make like the classic quests and the adventure that you have in hardcore with just doing one quest and the shit you get into. Now imagine a story being told in the same scenario that could be a one player, you know, PC game that you play on the side. You're still a part of that world. I don't know if that is that weird to think about WoW that way? Not WoW, Warcraft, right? Is it weird to think about Warcraft that way?
I don't know.
Because there's tons of shit like it, you know.
I mean, if you think about
My biggest pull is like Star Wars Extended Universe before Disney made their canon material, and how much there was around
you got
that.
like Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance and stuff like that, right? Which is
Yeah,
kind of like a
yeah.
hack and slash thing that was outside of like the original, like the normal Baldur's Gate things. It's like
Yeah.
any Baldur's Gate game. It's like, like Neverwinter takes like all those Dungeons and Dragons games that take place in the Sword Coast region.
Mhm.
Like they're all in the same overarching thing, but they take different stories and stuff like that. So like Baldur's Gate is different from Icewind Dale, is different from Neverwinter Nights, you know what I mean? But they all take place in the same area, and maybe there is some carryover, some little seeds and nuggets that's probably based more so on the developer of the games, like who made them. Like I'm sure Icewind Dale has like ties to Baldur's Gate and all that stuff, or at least references to it. Maybe not Neverwinter. I don't know if that was Obsidian or not. It might be, but stuff like that, to where, but like, you know, even the Neverwinter, like MMO or whatever the hell it was, you know, had its own thing, but like it could tie back into some of those things too. So no, I get it.
I'd love to see another RTS. I think that'd be fantastic. I don't know what story they tell, but I think it'd be awesome.
I mean, fuck it. You could make a game where you're a kobold, a kobold, and you're just like mining, and it's like you're trying to keep your candle lit. Like that would be a kind of a cool side game, you know? It's like
a mobile game.
Well, don't say that's dirty words. But that could be like a little. It could be like you can make like a Vampire Survivor-esque game where you're a kobold and you're running away from.
No,
and like
it's a mall game. It's the game based in the mall. Vampire
Could have
Survivor.
all kinds of humans trying to get you.
It could be called what was that first mine? Gold Tooth Mine or whatever.
No, Goldtooth was the kobold name.
What was the mine though? Like when you first go to the quest. Like it could just be a kobold working in there, and like you're trying to avoid low-level human characters, and they all just like look like different things coming in, try to take your candle and stuff like that. That would be a fun game,
funny.
And it doesn't even have to have like a really big story. It doesn't have to be like super lore heavy. I mean, because really, a kobold isn't gonna know much about what's going on in the fucking world.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're just gonna be
Kobold lore.
They're gonna be no take candle. And then, well, I
candle.
guess you could even do the shit like they had in the Lost Isles or whatever, where Thunder Totem is. I don't even know if High Mountain, like because they had like that quest line with the big candle, and if the candles went out, the shades came, like the Void guys came, and like there was like this whole big cave and stuff like that. You could build like a whole like kobold lore game around that and stuff like that. Especially now that they're introducing like the hulking kobolds.
Yeah.
Remember seeing those guys coming up in the next thing? Like the big, like, you know, Hulk ones? You know, it's like, you could have all kinds of stuff like that. You could have a fucking kobold game like the fucking base building games they had for like Fallout, where it's like you start in a thing and you get different, and you just build down and you just build a mine, and the whole thing is just get candles. You know what I mean?
God, that's awesome.
Like that would be a great game. Why don't they? Yeah, you're right. They should do shit like that. They should just make. You can make all kinds of fucking
absolutely, man. Absolutely.
That would actually be cool.
Yeah. And
give us Warhammer Warcraft. Total War. Warhammer Total War. No, Total War Warcraft. Sorry. Woof. Like Warhammer, Total War Warcraft.
Yeah, that would be fun.
And then you could deploy Murlocs.
I don't think there's enough yogurt for that.
Gargling yogurt.
Yeah. All right. I think that's a good. I think we need to stop because Jesus Christ, we've been going on for a long time. Well, I think that's.
Oh, you watch Pirate Software, don't you?
I've seen some of his stuff. Yeah, I've seen some of his clips.
Oh, I love it. I love him so much. It's awesome.
It's pretty cool because he seems like really chill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just.
I'm like, where'd you hear that at? Because I heard that too. Yeah, it was.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. I know this is probably the most financially driven podcast we've ever done. You can check us out at facebook.com/server restart in. Send us a post on X at server_restart.
Oh my
or
God.
just go to serverrestartin.com.
Yeah, there's that. You can check it out there, and it's got links to all that stuff, I think. And you can tell us, what you think the price points for expansions should be or stuff like that. I don't know. Start the conversation. The more we talk about it, the more Blizzard will listen. So, anyway.
Yeah, go to serverrestartin.com because it's got all those links. and I pay $13 a year for it. So,
All right. Thanks, everybody. Catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.